All right, we're back. Back in action. Had about a little 5-minute break. Group 2 of the day, 64 hitters, 4 groups, 16 hitters. 16 hitters fight for 8 spots to move on to Thursday. If you're tuning in right away, I know this is a long broadcast, but Kyle Berkshire, after 20 days of having surgery on the hamate bone there, the hook of the hamate, getting it removed, he ended up advancing, and he didn't really hit that many golf balls today. He really paced himself and ended up putting 50 balls, 50 swings. So he's going to have plenty of time to try to rehab the hand and get it to rest. So we got Brandon Flynn, Cody Albertson, and Jim Waldron on the tee box with the Ghost player. Jim Waldron ended up winning the ALD championships last year. Jim's a guy that's made multiple TV finals and one of the best hitters on the planet. And you got Brandon Flynn, who is now ranked second in the world, who's in slot number 1, a gentleman that has served and protected the greatest country on the planet. Me being an American, I have to say that, but you guys are tuning in from different countries. You have the greatest countries on the planet. Brandon Flynn, 374 yards. Jim Waldron, 373. Cody Albertson at 348. If you're tuning in now, you can spam us. You can comment. They have lifted the following the account for 7 days. So if you have any questions, fire away. We're going to get you up here on YouTube right now. Let me see here. This set will be called by Bobby Bradley, myself, I compete tomorrow, and Martin Bergmeyer. Let's pull it up. All right. We have Top Tracer technology for the first time at the World Championships, being able to feature practically each hitter. So you can see ball speed numbers, and Brandon Flynn currently in the lead at 374 yards. Jim Waldron, 373. Once again, we are back. It is XLD, I apologize. We are in Mesquite, Nevada, the home of Lawn Drive for the 2022 PLDA World Championships. 128 men in the open division will be competing. Brandon Flynn ends up taking down the set at 374 yards. Jim Waldron, 373. Cody Albertson, 348. We're using Bridgestone golf balls for the first time in the history of the sport. Getting some feedback from the guys. Ball speeds are going to be similar to the top flights, maybe a little bit slower than the fastest balls on the planet, but I want to thank Bridgestone for the opportunity for us to hit these golf balls this week. And the balls look, just from looking, they're flying pretty straight too, so it's what you want. They look like I said, they look like some good golf balls. We're trying to get compression numbers on them as well. So, this is the first time we've actually been able to see these golf balls. So, as this broadcast goes on and this tournament goes on, we'll have a little bit more data on the golf ball for you guys. And we were testing the Top Tracer technology with TrackMan and Foresight, and within a half mile per hour, they were on ball speed. So I know, like, later on in the tournament, that's what everybody's going to really be interested in. Not only the distance of these golf balls that they're traveling, but the ball speed numbers. And Kyle Berkshire with the longest ball of the first set at 403 yards with not too much wind. I mean, the wind today was practically neutral or 1-2 mile per hour downwind. So the wind's not going to be a factor. The ground is a little soft. The grass is perfectly plush. It is perfect conditions. We always say selfishly wish the ground was a little bit harder to get more roll out, which means bigger numbers. But new turf on the tee box as well. The Mesquite Sports Complex is our Yankee Stadium. It is beautiful out, and we have perfect conditions today. There isn't really truly a cloud in the sky. We will have Martin Bergmeyer. Oh, we have Steve Coyce in the house, Mr. 1000, and we were messing around with your name. Sit down, poor favor. Stephen Coyce, Stephen Qua, Stephen Coy. we really struggle, or I didn't struggle with your name, but Josh Koch kept calling you Stephen Coy.
Really?
So,
It's very difficult. 4 letters is very tough.
Yeah, it is. And then we were calling you Qua, Coy,
Yeah.
and we had a poll, and people liked Coyce, which is actually your name. So, all right. We got Wes Patterson, slot number 1, top 8 finisher last year. We got our guy Tiger Tazawa in slot number 2. And then Yuto Nishihima. I hope I didn't mess that one up.
Probably did.
And Sebastian Twaddell, who is an absolute monster, Australian dude. We were joking around yesterday saying he's 14 years old, but I don't think he is. He'd be a pretty big 14-year-old.
A big 14, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see 15.
He's like 6'6", about 270. Guy's a monster.
No, this is great to see the grid cam. I haven't seen anything. So how's it been reacting?
It's been great. Yeah, I'm really to be able to see the top tracer numbers. I mean, the numbers haven't been that fast as of yet, or like high. I mean, I saw Kyle at 220 a couple times, but it's really nice to be able to see these golf balls, fly from top tracer. Tiger at 214. So, and we don't really have all the data, so we don't know if that golf ball's faster, slower than the top flight that we've been using. But as of right now, we haven't been seeing really high numbers so far. But, it's the first set. Some of these guys are taking a different approach. Obviously, you made a huge adjustment from Utah. Not say huge adjustment. You made a huge improvement as far as hitting balls in play. So, 5 straight wins. How'd you feel?
Felt good. It was a great start, just what you want to see. Obviously 5 wins, but I was happy with the shots I was putting in play. Tried a couple different setups and a couple different shot shapes, and just getting comfortable up there. It's it's a 5-day event, so just kind of setting your routine, setting in some different setups and whatnot for different conditions, and trying it all out. The one thing I couldn't see, of course, is how far the ball was rolling. So it'll be really interesting to see as the days go on here. High shots, low shots, descent angles, stuff like that.
We saw a couple balls from like Jacob Galladay that were going about 135, 140 feet that were coming up a little bit shorter. I mean, we walked the grid yesterday. I'm not going to say it's soft, but there's not too much rollout. I mean,
it's plush.
It's plush. The grass is perfect. Tiger right now with the longest ball of the set at 385. Sebastian at 376. And they said Sebastian's the type of guy that you can tell that he has got really good ball speed. And a guy like that, seeing him for the first time is like, for me, is the only concern was is he accurate? Like, how's his ball striking abilities? Because he's plenty fast enough to compete, and a guy that potentially could be, a guy that you'll see in the final 16, just based off of ball speed alone. So, will accuracy be a factor later on down the road or early on? But Sebastian Twaddell, this is his rookie season, for competing at the World Championship. So interested to see Wes Patterson improving at 377, a guy that finished in the top 8 last year at the World Championships, a guy that knows how to win as well. So Wes right now currently is in second place, Tiger at 385. And we'll go through the point structure. First place is 200 points. Second is 100. Third is 50. Fourth is 25. You go OB, you get 0 points. In this round robin of 16 hitters, 450 is right around the bubble number. Last set it was 425 that went into a playoff. So, if you have 2 wins in a second, 500 points normally gets you in. But 5 wins, that's got to help out the confidence there.
Yeah, it does. It's and now I've got a day and a half to relax and hang out before the next time I'm up. So,
and I sound like a broken record, but Berkshire ends up breaking the hamate bone, has surgery. Probably the best case scenario for him is that he gets to advance, but he has, potentially 48 hours to relax. And then the same thing for you. Would you rather hit tomorrow or today?
Probably today. I think at this point, I think a lot of us are and you and I talked about this in the podcast. We're conditioned to go those 4 days in a row. So if we have to, that's totally fine. And that's sometimes on that 4th day we're our fastest, especially with the adrenaline and being up there in the final 8, final 16, whatever it's going to be. But I like it this way too. Now I get a long time to recover and really come back and be as sharp as I could ever want to be on Thursday.
Well, we got Isaiah joining here in slot number 1, Damian Dooley. Is it Izzy Matsumoto? Izzy. Yeah, I like it. And then Tanner Roberts.
And we're seeing the wind pick up a little bit in favor. I think the numbers are going to keep going up here. You know what's unusual, and again, we talked about this, but usually you see the wind blowing to the right, but right now it's down and left.
Yep. Yeah, very
So-
rare. Normally, yeah, the predominant winds here, especially this time of the year, are going to be a southwest wind. So this is like a south to north grid. So it's more slot 1, slot 2 normally seem to be the favorite grid,
Yeah.
favorite slots to be in, especially if you hit a little flat cut. Let's see what they have to say in the comments section here. Sab 219. The kid's fast, really is. Tyga's the man. The greatest interview in the history of life last year.
That's right.
Performed by Griff Pippin, who will be here later today. Griff and Jake Adams from Country Club Adjacent will be here.
Good shot.
Yeah, good shot. Still working on some numbers here. We don't have any numbers on the board as of yet.
Yeah, they said there's a bit of a delay sometimes in that fourth slot because it is a white ball with a green mark on it. There's also a white ball in slot 1. So it's when the ball callers are eyeballing it out there at first, it's sometimes hard to differentiate. But then they, of course, at the end of the set, they get it all squared away. I think that was a good ball by Isaiah. Now we've been seeing him now a number of times, and I think his swing is just getting better and better, more conditioned for these kind of events. I'm not too familiar with the other three. Certainly, I know Damien's name, but I never really have gotten to watch him closely. So what are you seeing here?
Well, Isaiah Joyner looks like a guy that he's huge too. You know,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He is. He's probably what 6'5".
At least.
Yeah, and he's got a great base and he's got a really nice swing. Damien Dooley's still working on a number. He's at 351, so Isaiah Joyner 369. And Steve just mentioned that the wind has picked up slightly, but you're talking a couple miles per hour.
Yeah, it's nothing huge, but if you miss hit a ball a little bit and it's into the wind, it's usually going to get hit pretty hard. But if you miss hit a ball downwind, you can still get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where you'll see the differences when somebody doesn't hit it quite perfect, but you can still end up with a good number. All right, Isaiah jumps up to 373 to be leading this set.
Well, looks like Isaiah Joyner is going to take down the set at 373 yards. Damien Dooley 351, Tanner Roberts 344, Izzy Matsumoto at 325. There could be some improvement here on the last ball from Tanner Roberts, but didn't hear really any reaction out of him on that last ball. But we're looking at Isaiah Joyner's numbers. 209 on his last ball. He hit it 91 feet in the air, so it was a little low.
Good to see Rob Tietmeyer again. I think his usual ball flight is kind of a mid-high cut. So I think that should work well with these conditions right now.
Yeah, Rob ended up making a Final 8 in 2019 at the World Championships. So I'll take a water as well. There you go. So Tietmeyer did really well the last, when he was competing a bunch in 18 and 19. A really good ball striker. A guy that's going to be right around, probably today, I'd say about 206 to 208 on the high end. But someone that's going to put a bunch of balls in play. And we talked about the performance bonuses. Someone like Rob Tietmeyer is going to hit a lot of balls in play. So more than likely he could win longest set and most balls in play.
Okay, this is a lime cucumber Gatorade. They're really branching out in these flavors.
Yeah, it's is it zero sugar?
No, it is not.
Surprised that you drink that.
Well, refuel.
Refuel. Okay. All right.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the ball that we're using now, this Bridgestone ball, is a little bit slower, but with the dimple pattern and whatnot, it's going. In testing, I've heard that it was going further. So, and as as we all know, it's not just speed. Of course, that plays a huge factor, but this ball seems great for the distances it's putting out.
On Tietmeyer, slot number 1, just looking at his numbers, last ball was 197. So, he's trying to probably put some balls in play right now. Gavin Yost is slot number 2, John Zook in slot number 3, and Matthew Thorman in slot number 4. Go ahead. All right, let's take a peek at some of the questions here. Who goes longer this year, Martin or Kyle? Those guys are going to be there late. I mean, no surprise if they stick to the game plan and hit a lot of balls in play, you'll see them in the final 16. Those guys are the fastest guys on the planet, and wouldn't be surprised to see them there like last year. I mean, Kyle, Justin James, Martin Bergmeyer, they ended up making the semifinals. Right now, Gavin Yossis is in the lead at 346 yards, Tietmeyer 343, John Zook at 335, and Matt Thorman at 335.
Yeah, for a question like that, who's going to go longer? It's impossible to say because
as far as the tournament goes, like I don't know if they were talking about the distance wise or what have you.
It all depends when you get down to the top 8 or whatever in the sport. It's just who performs best on that day, and in those conditions, who hits the right shot. It's I mean, tell me if you think differently, but I would say that among the top guys, it's just who performs best, and that's it doesn't necessarily matter if one guy is showing up a little bit faster or a little bit whatever. It's who's literally being an athlete and performing at that time.
Gavin Yossis with the longest drive of that set at 364 yards. When you're talking about actual ball speed, I mean, Kyle's the fastest guy on the planet, and I can say it's not even close. I mean, you're talking 3 or 4 mile per hour difference. Like when you start getting into the 230s, there's only a couple guys that have been able to even accomplish that number, Martin Bergmeyer being one of them. But the guy that's been creeping up that hit 230 this year, and I'm trying to think who else who's hit 230 this year. You got
Greg Knoll.
Well, Greg Knoll, yeah, I was gonna say Greg Knoll went 232 a couple days ago. You have Colton that's been there close, and even Reed Russell. I think they literally went 229.9.
Yep.
And if it's a carry grid, and like I said, and those guys are hitting balls in play, you're gonna see Greg Knoll there at the end. You're gonna see Reed Russell and Colton Casto. Reed and Colton ended up going 1-2 in Utah, in our last tour event. And those are the guys that I expect to be there late. Brandon Flynn, Scotty Perriman, the same guys that we talked about on the Crush It podcast a couple weeks ago. I mean, the biggest question right now is Kyle having surgery 20 days ago, competing, and
well, I mean, for him, I mean, I'm sure that's a little bit of a mental distraction, but with his dad's background and everything, I'm sure he had the best surgeon, the best recovery protocol, and he works so hard at it that I'm sure he's in a position still where he'll be a top competitor.
No, for sure, without a doubt. I mean, he hit the longest ball of the tournament so far at 403 yards. So Gavin Yossis ends up taking the set. So we're through our first round of hitters.
So Bobby, seeing what you're seeing here with how the ball's landing, flying, stuff like that, what kind of changes are you making when you go into your sets?
I'm just going to try to hit as many balls in play. I want to try to get 2 bonuses. I want to hit 6 out of 6 in play, and I want to have the longest set. Yeah, that's it. Like, if I get in the round of 64, great. I could, but whatever. I think I'm better.
You hit a nice little draw, yeah.
I'm gonna just hit
usual ball flight.
I'll just try to hit it straight.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go with the D10. I'm just gonna be stubborn and try to hit that shaft because I know I'm a little bit faster.
There you go.
But if I wanted to, I could just go with like a 46 D on an 80-gram shaft and just 3-degree head and just try to hit a bunch of balls in play.
Well, sometimes that's what you need.
But that's not fun. We're at a long drive contest, right?
That's right.
Wes Patterson 370. So Wes is looking good. Wes had surgery on his knee about a couple months ago. He still competed in Utah, but looking good there.
Yeah, leading the way. First ball at 370. That's always a good thing. Put your first ball up. Get a good number.
You got Jim Waldron here in slot number 4.
There's been an unusual and unfortunate number of little injuries and stuff popping up for some people. I know Jim is working through a wrist issue right now, and unfortunately Bryce for Plank had to pull out with a wrist injury, but wish him a quick recovery.
Yeah, just impact in the ground like playing golf. I mean, it's not beneficial for a long drive at all.
Right.
hitting the ground and then having speed sessions. I mean, just look at like I said, you had Bryson and Kyle this year with a broken hamate bone. Yeah.
And that's what happened to Nick Kiefer back a few years ago.
Yep.
Exact same little hook of the hamate.
Yep. Waldron 366. Wes still in the lead at 370. Matt Dorman 330 and Damian Dooley at 342.
You never know with Wes. When he does the one-handed follow-through, sometimes that's his best ball.
Yep.
So you got to watch those.
Wes hits it straight. He has a good ball flight, too. I mean, he really, truly does. As mentioned, Wes made the final 8 last year. Doing a little bit different of a setup. Be curious to see. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if he's hitting the D30 on this one. Yeah, that shaft wasn't.
That looked pretty whippy.
Yeah, we'll see. D10. D10's fun to hit, though.
Yeah, it is.
What'd you hit today?
I actually went with the charged LD40 and LD70.
Got it. And you're strong, so you're not going to get beat up hitting 30 golf balls with a setup that most of us have been using for the beginning of time and the sport of lawn drive. I mean, when I first seen guys like Bobby Wilson and other seniors that were going to like a regular 1X setup and they were doing extremely well. I mean, I think they might have figured it out, you know.
I think so.
And then Oradesky coming out with the LD30 plus. It was like pretty much the first time that we were hitting regular flex shafts and these types of events. But the boys back in the days, the Hall of Famers, I think they figured it out before anybody.
They did, and I think what Jason is doing with the kinetic shafts allows people to get even more flexible without adding a lot of spin and wild deviations with the shaft. What I was trying to, I said I used the charge shaft, which from my understanding is a single kick point versus a double kick point. And for whatever reason, for me, that feels a lot more natural. Yeah. And the LD30 in the velocity actually feels similar, even though that's a double kick point. But then the D10, like you were talking about, that one's pretty wild.
It's going to be weird to hit that thing tomorrow. I'm doing it, though. I'm going to be stubborn. I'm hitting it.
What head are you putting on?
I'm going to just use the XR16.
There you go.
It's at 12 and 12, man.
There you go.
12 and 12. I'm going to take out the gram weight and put the little sticker over it and try to make it as light as possible. But Eddie Fernandez, we were just talking about the TPT shaft that he was using. It's 39 grams.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, if you had any recoil, that thing's just disintegrating. But let's see the chat here. Mackenzie Graham, hello, superstar. Billy Bob. Yeah, they're talking about the 45 or the 48 inch, the local rules with 46 inch. I mean, really truly on the PGA Tour. I know Bryson was using a 48, but I mean, it's so much harder to hit it straight with a 48 inch. I wouldn't think that would benefit a tour player really truly hitting it unless you can, air it out and you can miss left and right, courses like that.
Doesn't Brooke Henderson use a 48 inch shaft? And she's got to be what, 5'7", 5'8", something like that. So it's, for some people they like it, but yeah, I mean, especially when you're going with a 5-degree head or a 3-degree head or whatever people are using out here. Mine was just 5 today, but that makes it so much harder to be accurate as well. That you wouldn't want to take that combo on the course.
Yep. Well, Tyga's at 366. Isaiah Joyner still working on the number. Tyga. All the players, everybody loves Tyga. He's the man. Where is he from? From Japan.
From Japan.
From
there
Japan.
You go, 388.
Yeah,
Big
Tyga's
ball.
looking good. And I saw a 214 from Tyga, 125 feet in the air as well. So that's something that we'll look at now. The guys that are faster, we'll kind of see. It looked like just based off of the data in front of us, his landing angle looked really good there. So he had 125 feet in the air, which isn't very high.
I wonder how it'll play out because, of course, a couple weeks ago was the women's world championship over in Japan, and so maybe Tyga won't have quite the big, contingency that travels with him because maybe they're staying back home.
Yeah. What did he say? Oh, that was your dad. Gave the thumbs up.
Okay.
So we got John Zook here in slot number 3, just working on a number. But Tyga just filling it up. 366, 388, 383. Stud. Isaiah Joyner with a 363.
Yeah, I'd say Tyga's got kind of a Ben I'm still not sure how you say his last name, but kind of a backswing where he goes
Ben Tuone, yeah.
he goes past vertical.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people talk about going to parallel. He's going past vertical.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to put 4 out of 6 in play there, that's a great set.
Well, just watching Tyga on Instagram, I mean, he practices a lot, hits a lot of balls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, like, his setup. Like, he literally will set up a 1.5 foot off the golf ball before he pulls the trigger. So
Really?
it's like he's not even like addressing the
Almost
golf
like
ball.
a Maurice Allen.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's more off. Like it's he's got it dialed in. Tyga takes down the set. He'll have 400 points.
Solid. All right, Cody Albertson, Rob Tietmeyer, Sebastian Twaddell, and are we going with Izzy?
Yeah.
Izzy Matsumoto.
Yep.
If it's not Izzy, Izzy's a cool name anyway.
It is.
So.
It's awesome. He's got big league hair too. He's got great hair. Looks like a stud, like the glasses.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Sebastian Twaddell, the largest 14-year-old in the history of life.
There was a guy in the first set with me. I didn't catch his name, unfortunately, but I think he's only 17, and he was hitting it good.
Yeah. And we've had some younger guys compete over the years. And I said anybody that's watching right now, the kid that played at Stanford, he came in second in the world. He was 16.
Dominic
Mazzi, yep. Yep.
Was that out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the famous the left bounce, I think. It was
Yeah,
kind of fading
for
down the
Miller.
right line and bounced left.
Yeah. No, Joe Miller ended up winning it. So, yeah, Cody Albertson's in slot number 1, Tietmeyer in 2, Sebastian Twaddell and Izzy Matsumoto. Tyga's looking good, though. Should I try to compete if I'm 210 ball speed? Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. If you're 210 and you've never competed, you should absolutely come and try. I think the general consensus on how to get into competition is to just get in and just start trying. You never know how you'll respond, how your body will respond. And if you're already at 210, that's a fantastic start.
Yeah, Bryce for Plank. I mean, he literally started long drive like 2 days before he came out to the World Championships and finished in the top. Well, whatever. He came in third last year.
Nice high ball there by Izzy.
Yeah, Stephen Coyce in the booth right now. Ended up winning all 5 sets. 1,000 points. That's the most amount of points that you can win in a round robin with 16 hitters in 5 sets. So Tietmeyer's in the lead right now at 358. I'd say Cody Albertson's probably the best dressed so far. Most unique dressed.
Definitely most unique.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think to put the multicolored stripes with the multicolored spots, but I like it.
It's unique. Like I said, I like it.
You're not going to miss him.
No.
With a foot-long beard,
No.
too.
Big league beard.
Big league beard.
Big league beard. All right, so Tietmeyer still in the lead. And once again, Sebastian, the only thing that concerns me with watching his swing is his accuracy.
Sure.
But I can say a guy that's putting up 219, 220 ball speed, if he's hitting the center of the club face and put it in play, he's going to be there late in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said a top 16. But right now, fighting to get a number. And I guess that's one of the good things right now with this round robin format. Watching Ryan Gregnall just walk up is a perfect example of, Gregnall probably had the worst round robin of his entire life. He went 3 for 30 and still got in because he ended up winning 2 sets and took third place. He had 450 points, advanced, and then somehow figured it out and couldn't miss the grid in the second round robin. So, Gregnall making his way in to the Mesquite Sport Complex, one of the favorites to be there late on Saturday, and a guy that literally, I mean, if he ends up taking second or first in his set without tearing his groin last year, he would have made a final 8 at the World Championships, but he ended up tearing his groin literally in the last set.
Cody Albertson, it just popped up 375 on his
Boom.
last ball to take 200. Still no marks from Sebastian though. But yeah, to your point, I think that is one of the things that indicates a great format where you have to find who's the longest hitter. And yeah, of course, it's important to put a number of balls in play, but the fact that Greg Knoll could only put 3 out of 30 in, and that's obviously not good for anybody, but he could still advance. And then, like you're saying, he put 6 for 6 in, and then I think he put like 4 out of 6 in another set, and he was just lighting it up, and they were all bombs.
Mhm.
So it's a great format we've got right now, and it's really friendly to people like Sebastian who are just starting. Where
Yep.
if it's a double elimination format, maybe you come in, maybe you fly all the way here because he's
Yeah.
not.
Australia.
He's from Australia. So, I mean, he might fly all the way here, have 2 bad sets, and he could be out. But this way he's guaranteed 5 times, and top 8 are moving on. So it's a great format, I think.
He ended up in his last ball in play as well, so he took
great.
second in the set, so he's got 300 points.
Great.
Let's take a peek again at the comments. I think he said, Mackenzie Graham, hello. Dan Lambert, hello. Chelsea Odom, hello.
Dan Lambert, hello. How are you?
Legend. If you guys need, he's into cornhole now. You need anything done that has anything to do with cornhole, you give Dan
Is that
Lambert
right?
a call. Oh, yeah. He's got some good stuff going out there. Like, cornhole's humongous.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
anybody can play it.
Oh, yeah.
There's tournaments and everything, and it's great. All right, so right now we have Gavin Yosis in slot 1, Brandon Flynn, one of the favorites in slot 2, Tanner Roberts, and Yuto Nishihima.
It was a good ball by Brandon, his second ball.
Yep. So maybe they can key in on Brandon Flynn here. Look at his numbers. Little high cut. 152 feet in the air, 210 ball speed. So Brandon Flynn is just locked in right now.
That's pretty ideal.
Yeah.
150 apex.
Launch 12 degrees. Once again, we want to thank Top Tracer for coming on board this year, being able to give the user experience, the viewer experience, a lot more to look at, which gives us a lot more to look at as well.
Here we go. They said that last one by Brandon carried 377.
Yep.
I think that's what you'd expect to see out of Brandon. He's going to come out here, and again, this is the first day, so there are a lot of people who are experienced in the sport. They're going to be just kind of grooving it. They're going to be trying to hit a bunch of shots in, maybe experiment with a couple things, and we wouldn't be surprised at all to see Brandon just fill it up.
Yep. He's got 2 balls at 367 yards. Tanner Roberts 325. Yuto's at 311. Once again, we got Adam Hurley, living legend. Huh? And once again, if DeChambino is watching, maybe we can get him in the booth here. And one of these, they will be arriving, Martin Bergmeyer and Bryson DeChambeau. Get them in the booth, chatting it up, ask some questions. Like I said, you can make any comment that you want. Bryson will answer them to the best of his abilities. I said, we always say that the internet's ruthless sometimes,
Yeah.
They're tough on you. But no, it's been really nice to have Bryson come in the past couple of years. Brought a lot more eyeballs to the sport of lawn drive, and he's one of the best hitters on the planet when it comes to the sport. And he's a guy that I feel very strongly that will be there in the final 8, and a guy that could win a world championship.
Well, it's great because in part it shows that you can have that crossover, and they are separate sports, golf and long drive, but they're, you can excel at both.
Yep.
And I think for a long time there's been that idea that you've really, got to do one or the other.
Well, I think you have to be a very, very good golfer to get into long drive, not a very good long driver to get into golf, So, I mean,
well,
I
as
think
Bryson would say, you got to find one thing that kind of sets you apart, like one strength that you have. And for everybody here, if we're getting into tournament golf, it's going to be our distance that'll set us apart.
Yeah.
But
Brandon Flynn won that set, by the way. Brandon's got 400 points. So Brandon, he could take a second, and he's in easy. Jim Waldron in slot 1, Sebastian Twaddell in slot 2, Isaiah Joyner, and Gavin, who's going back-to-back. Did you like going back-to-back? Did you have a back-to-back today?
I didn't have a back-to-back. I had the reverse. I had a first and then a fourth. So I had like 25 minutes in between.
That was kind of the same with Kyle as well. That's probably toughest one, is to have that much time off.
Yeah.
A first and a fourth. So it was about, 25 minutes, you think, somewhere in there?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's, for an event like this, and I was just down at the One Stop Power Shop and we were running some simulated tournaments. So we got used to just kind of standing around and then being able to come back, flip the switch, and get right back into it.
Yep.
And it's such a comfortable temperature and everything out here. It's not like you're really going to cool down and,
Oh, the weather's been great. Winther hits tomorrow, I think. I was on the range with Winther yesterday. He's a 2012 world champion. And strong dude. So Sebastian's got a ball in play, 365. And mentioned last set he snuck one in on that last ball. A guy that's got some solid ball speed. You got Jim Waldron at 206 ball speed. But this is really nice to have. Top tracer technology.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Sebastian is at 216 ball speed on his last one. Flat cut too. He pulled it left, so he's swinging probably 2-3 degrees left. So for him, it's going to be about dispersion, accuracy, and dispersion. So like I said, now I'm looking at a kid that I've seen on the range probably hit 20 balls, but if I'm going to be critical, because this kid has a chance to run really deep in this tournament, he would have to focus on dispersion, trying to not take up too much room left to right, because there is a 0% chance he can hit a draw. There's no way that kid can turn it over. So if I was him, I would work on tightening it up left to right and, putting balls in play, because I am impressed with him. This is a guy that they say, is there anybody that could sneak up that could be there late in a tournament? And I feel that he's a guy that could potentially be there. And he's consistent too. He's been in the mid-teens on every one of his ball speeds. So Sebastian Twaddell right now is currently in the lead at 365 yards. You got Waldron at 55 and Gavin at 29, and Isaiah Joyner still without a mark. He just put up a 62. And then we're looking at Isaiah Joyner as a 205 ball speed. So Isaiah putting up a nice number. 134 feet apex. And that's the other thing that we can kind of take a peek at is the height of the golf balls, because we did say that the grid is plush. It's not too much rollout today.
Mm-hmm.
And be curious to see as the week goes on, are they going to bake out the grass? Are they going to mow it? We're going to see bigger numbers on Friday and Saturday.
Well, I mean, certainly if they mow it, because it's plush grass, but you could feel it was pretty firm underneath it with the soil. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple big bounces. I hit one earlier. It was way off the toe, hit this low draw, and ended up going 351. And then I crushed one that was like 379 or something, which is to be that close is kind of odd.
Yeah, and we were talking about the grain. The grain is kind of benefits a draw as well, because the grain's kind of going northwest. So stuff like that. Whatever, things that you don't really think of.
Yeah.
You're like, we're just a bunch of meathead long drivers just swinging clubs. But there is some strategy to it. And like I said, no better person to talk about shaping golf balls and hitting, different shots than Dave Mobley, who we'll see in the Masters division. And, Eddie Fernandez is just hitting numbers that I don't think we've ever seen in that that division. Jeff Gavin's another guy that's right at 220. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see those three guys there at the end. Zach Adams, in his Masters debut, the World Championships, and then John Graves, really, really impressive as well, former professional baseball player. And that's always been a fun, for me to watch, like Bobby Wilson and Pat Dempsey and Dan Beaver. Those guys compete. Mike Gorton.
That'll get started on Thursday, I believe, the Masters division, senior division.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a strong field in that this year. It's going to be a good race. So right now we got Rob Tietmeyer leading at 358, but Damian loved that last ball.
There you go. Like I said, Tietmeyer's just going to just keep hitting a bunch of balls in play. You know, he's a guy that won't beat himself.
He's up to 361 now.
Yep.
He's got that little cut working. I'm not sure if that one's going to cut quite enough, but
he's starting to pick up the ball speed too. Like I said, Tietmeyer's a guy that you probably see around 205, 206 right now, but a guy that you would see winning performance bonuses, hitting a bunch of balls in play. He's got 4 out of 5 right now. So Damian Dooley was screaming at that one, and he ended up going 364. So he's going to take down that set unless Tietmeyer improves on his last ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, come to the tee now in slot 1, Issei Matsumoto. Slot 2, Matthew Thorman.
So Tietmeyer goes 4 out of 6, but ends up taking second place. Damian Dooley wins the set.
On deck, finishing off set 3, John Zook, Tanner.
And we got our guy, Tyga. There he is. I got to get a camera out here. I got to do this one for the gram here. My boy. The greatest interview of all time, probably. Griff Pippen, he'll be here in a little bit. Him and Tyga. That's got probably tens of millions of views. That interview is hilarious. It's the best. And even Tyga makes shirts that says "From Japan"
Does he?
now. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't know Griff or Country Club Adjacent before last year, so that was like the first time I saw him. And yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough. I've known those guys for this probably 3 years now, and it's been fun to watch them grow. And because the guys are hilarious, and then I invited them to come out. I'm like, you guys got to come out last year.
Yeah.
And now they're just doing the back off challenge against, with they're ripping everybody, and it's so much fun to watch. I mean, you see them at a bunch of the live events, and they have a good pro-am with celebrities and what have you, and it's just a full-on fest, a roast fest of just it's hilarious. The one that they just did with was it Louis Oosthuizen? Louis Oosthuizen couldn't even hit a golf ball. He's laughing so hard. Yeah. What shaft would you recommend for someone 115, 120? I mean, it's kind of a loaded question just because, you go to these custom club fitting facilities. I mean, you got guys that are hitting 190 CPM shafts and 290 CPM shafts. So really just go in and get fitted at, custom club fitting facility.
Yeah, you got to try it. You got to see how your body responds. Because you can look at the spec sheet or the appropriate fitting, but your body will respond differently in a way that you can't predict.
Yeah.
So go out and try it.
Right now I'm trying to get a slow-mo on Tyga, and you got everybody wants to get Tyga in this video, so I have absolutely zero chance of getting a clean shot here of our guy, our man from Japan.
Let's see if he can hit a good shot.
Nice shot.
I think so. He's watching
I like
it,
that
hanging
one.
down the right side.
I can post that one. That one's good. But once again, the biggest improvement this year, the last year, is the technology. 4K cameras, 4 top tracer, launch monitors. I can hear you on my headset. We got YouTube going nuts.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Tyga's still working on a number right now. I think he liked the second ball.
Yeah, I think he did. I'm pretty sure that it turned back and stayed in down the right hand side.
Yeah.
I haven't been able. I mean, I've been in the booth here, I guess, for whatever half an hour, but I was hitting earlier, so I didn't get to see any of the coverage. But yeah, this is awesome to see all the different options and the top tracer with the tracing line in it. I mean, it's all the data you're getting from it. It's great.
Yep, it's and right now, like I said, I'm seeing balls that are going 130, 140 feet. You know, and they're going pretty far. And wind hasn't been a factor at all. Brandon Flynn here is in slot number 3 with 367 yards. Matt Thorman's still working on a number. And Tyga, as of right now, doesn't have a number, but they only have one number up as of right now for him.
Okay, yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of curve. I was just trying to understand because there was one shot that curved 140 feet, and I wasn't sure if it was pointing to the apex of 140 feet, but I guess he hit a slinger. Which happens. That happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at Tyga's numbers here in slot 4, 214 ball speed, plenty fast. Made the final 16 last year.
Set.
Yep.
Good ball.
I think right now slot 4 is probably your the best slot to be hitting in right now. There's not really much movement, and based off, like I said, the grain of the grass, you might get a little bit more rollout with a draw.
Mm-hmm.
But Tyga ends up taking the set at 373. He could have improved on that, but Brandon Flynn's at 367. We're having some issues, per se, with the ball calling in slot 1 and 4 because the golf ball is very similar. They're both white golf balls, and slot 4 has a thin green line. So that's what's taking a little bit longer for these numbers to pop up on the board in those slots. We have a yellow golf ball in slot 2, an orange golf ball in slot 3. And said, thank God we're not hitting a blue golf ball.
Yeah.
That was awful.
The blue was tough. There was kind of like a purplish crimson a couple years before that. It was really tough to see. But this ball looks great, and I like the way it feels too. Have you hit it yet?
I have not.
It feels great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a Tour Series golf ball is always going to feel significantly better, and it's going to fly better as well.
Yeah.
So they might not be faster, but they will fly farther. Monica Borowitz, hello. Long drive professional. Who else we got in here? Dan Lambert, yes. They said the viewing experience is significantly better, which, yes, without a doubt. And it's easier for us to call the action, too, because we're face on. We're not down the line. So if we were down the line, it'd be a lot easier to see ball flight. But the good thing is with Top Tracer, we can see ball flight a little delayed, maybe 15 seconds delayed, but
Wes Patterson, Cody Albertson.
right now, Tyga ends up winning that set. He's going to have 600 points. Brandon Flynn's going to have 500. Isaiah Joyner is going to be in third place as well. So we will sound like broken records over 8 hours of coverage, but 450 points in this type of setup is going to be kind of the bubble number to get in. 16 hitters are going to go down to 8. 4 groups of 16 hitters today, so 64 total hitters will hit. And day 1A, day 1B is tomorrow starting at 8:30. And they will have 64 hitters on Thursday, 32 hitters on Friday, 16 hitters down to 1 on Saturday for the World Championship.
Yeah, it's hard to get a read on Wes. But I think that second ball might have been a good one.
Yep. Said Wes, a professional baseball player, fast hands, strong. Guy that knows how to win one out in China in 2018 at the Global Infinity Series Championship. Right. Yeah, a large purse. He ended up getting paid was $150K.
That's right. There you go, 372 leading the way. John Zook at 342.
Tanner Robertson, Cody Albertson. Tanner's at 329. And Wes is using a Tour Series setup right now. I can just tell by the shaft. He's using the 51K, the Keegan Bradley shaft, Tour Series shaft, probably butt cut a couple inches. So he's using, I would say, probably a 46-inch shaft. And Wes is more accurate with that type of setup as well.
Uh-huh.
So, but he's got 2 balls in at 372 and 371. So.
Oh, there you go, Cody, 372.
There you go. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting, I mean, he's got all the colors. Like you said, he's got the flowered shorts. We're talking about Cody Albertson in slot number 4. He's got the flowered shorts, and then he's got the stripes. But, I mean,
There's plenty to look at.
absolutely. Got the tattoo on the right arm.
Tattoos, yeah.
Is he a military guy? He's got to be.
You'd think so.
I would think so. I'm going to take a wild guess and say he was in the military.
Yeah.
We need to get a background on him. Anybody? And the question is if he is in the military, what branch? Is he Army, Marine? I mean, he looks
I'd
like
say Marines.
I'd say Marine. He looks
yeah.
like he
looks
looks
like a Marine.
I want him on my team in a fight too.
Oh, yeah.
Like we talked about the Dobbins. We want them both on the
Yeah,
team.
that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the tee
I
now.
want to yell at him like, Cody, were you in the?
Slot 2, Jim Waldron. Slot 3, Tiger Tazawa. And slot 4, Rob Tietmeyer.
All right, so I think we're going to wait on some measurements here between Wes Patterson and Cody Albertson there. They're both listed at 372 currently.
Mm-hmm. And once again,
Another 372 by Cody.
if there's a tie, and they're within a yard or right now or 6 inches, they just chop up the point. So
So it might be a tie.
Yeah, there might be
looks
a
like a tie.
it is. There's a tie, and they will have 300 points to chop up. So Wes Patterson and Cody Albertson will get 150 points apiece.
For people who don't watch a lot of long drive, it is pretty amazing to see how often a tie happens. You're hitting it out there 372 yards in this case, and they're a few inches apart.
But look at those numbers from Cody Albertson. He's got 2 balls at 372, and then Wes has got a 371 and a 372.
Yeah. So really, potentially they almost had 4 that were tied right there.
Yep.
4 balls at the same distance. I think we talked about this before, maybe the last time you and I were commentating, but there was a time in Atlantic City where in the set I was in, 3 people hit at 354, and I hit at 353.
Yep.
It was awful, but we're all hitting it exactly the same distance, except 1 yard short.
Yep. That happened to me in Vieira, Florida, 2011. I can't remember. Chris Deason was one of the guys, and then the other guy I can't remember. I hit 3 balls 380, and those guys both went 380, and we had a 3-ball playoff.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And that's where I qualified. It was me and a kid named Brandon Holden that qualified for the World Championships. So that was tough because we'd have 38. That event had 38 guys for only 2 spots for the exemptions, and he was with the Pirates as well. So it was kind of cool.
Wow.
Both of us played with the Pirates and got into the World Championships in 11.
Was he a pitcher too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then that was when me and Trevor Consavage were roommates.
Hmm.
That was the infamous Mike Dobbin. I think Mike might have broke 3 shafts that day. He lost. The wind shifted. I can't remember what year. He would tell. That was that was hilarious. Those shafts stood no chance over Mike's knee. That was the wind shifted, and we're talking about conditions in Mesquite. Right now, it's been extremely consistent, but there's times where you'll have a headwind or a tailwind where it could shift within like 2 minutes. And I remember the set where the guys went 400, 360, and then 321, and 320 ended up winning the set 2 sets later. And that was when Trevor went up against Mike Dobbin, and Mike went 319.
Wow.
But yeah, so within like 6 minutes, 80 yards difference in distance.
All right, Tanner Roberts, Jim Waldron, Taiga Tazawa, and Rob Tietmeyer.
Dan Lambert talking trash. That was actually 2017, Dan. I remember when he took me and Costello out on the last ball. That was 2017 because I ended up qualifying in Utah at Ryan's place, the next event. So, yeah, Dan, thanks for reminding us that. Lambert, I think, Lambert, you have a runner-up in the Masters division. I think he came runner-up in either 16 or 17.
We've talked a lot about different practice methods and how many balls Kyle hits and everybody else. I would say Dan Lambert has probably, to my recollection, has hit more balls that I've ever seen at an event than anybody else.
1,000 balls easily. So Waldron's in the lead right now at 350. The Tigers at 359 now. Tietmeyer 350. Waldron 356. So we got guys in slot 2, 3, and 4 that have made final 16s at the World Championships and even final 8s. So you got 3 really, really good hitters. Waldron's more on the higher end of a really good ball striker that's going to put a lot of balls in play, who's going to be slightly faster than Rob Tietmeyer. Tyga's faster. I've seen top speed from Tyga today is at 214. And Waldron has the fastest practice backswing in the history of the sport as well.
Yep.
He fools me every time. Like, I've seen him hit 10,000 golf
Turn
balls.
sideways. Whoa, wait, practice. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you see it. It still is believable.
Yep. So Tatemeyer just filling it up. To be expected, more than likely going to win our performance bonuses on balls in play and probably the longest set. Just putting an absolute clinic on right now.
You like that one?
Yep.
Which will probably be 5 for 5.
Yeah, and if he likes that ball, like based off of like the ball speed numbers that Tatemeyer's, if he's at 204, 205, he'll probably put up a 365 ball, which I wouldn't be surprised. And it hopefully they can feature that slot here because we do have about a 15-second delay where we might be able to see that ball that he hit. Waldron takes the lead at 360.
I'd like to see an overlay of Tyga's backswing and Jim Waldron. They get in a very similar position.
Tyga likes that one.
Yeah, he likes it.
And just based off of ball speed alone, if Tyga center punches one, he's going to win the set. So Waldron lit it up there. He went 4 out of 6 in play. We still waiting on Tatemeyer's last 2 balls, which we believe one of the 2 are in. So he went 66.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense, like right around 65.
Boy, 6 for 6 for Rob there. What a set.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, he's a guy that's going to be in for the performance bonuses, a guy that's going to put a lot of balls in play. Obviously, Tatemeyer does a lot of exhibitions. So, guys that are doing 80, 100 exhibitions a year, they really focus on hitting a lot of balls in play because you don't want to sit out there and hit, 4 or 5 balls per
Tyga
grip.
comes in at 370 on his last ball.
Yep. To be expected, and that's what it comes down to later on in these tournaments. Guys that are just faster, that hit center punch it, are going to win. They're going to be guys that are 5, 6, 10 miles per hour slower, unless the ground is hard. If the ground's hard, and that's when, like I said, you got guys that are masters like Dave Mobley that really know how to use the ground. Guys like someone like a Jacob Gallaty as well, in the open division. And for me, that's where I think Bryson would be the most dangerous. Is if the ground is harder. Bryson's going to be. He's going to be there late. So I'm going to be curious to see Friday, Saturday where he'll be because 220 or 218 with this golf ball. And, I don't know if it's a golf ball that he's truly accustomed to. I know this is more of a prototype golf ball, but I'll say it again. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Bryson wins this thing, like really, truly, later on. But
Jim Waldron. All right. Sorry to interrupt, but 371 on his 5th ball took down the set by a yard over Tyga.
Yep. So Waldron, a guy that ended up winning the XLD championships last year against a pretty solid field. So Tyga's in, Brandon Flynn's in. Wes has still got a couple sets to go where he just has to put a ball or 2 in play each set, and he's in. Isaiah Joyner, Cody Albertson's at 400. And I'll say this, someone like Sebastian that comes up here, he has to hit a ball in play. Like I said, I think, the more balls he puts in, his confidence will go up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, really focus on dispersion. So that's a guy that I'll key in the next couple days because I think that if he can straighten it out and find the grid, he can be a guy that could sneak up on someone, later in an event, somewhat similar to a Bryce for Plank. So the schedules, it might be on the PLDA website, the schedule of all listed events. I mean, we do have player packets that breaks it down, but maybe we can put a link up here that kind of defines the structure of the next 5 days.
In short, for the open division, it'll be every day cutting the field in half.
Yeah.
So Saturday will be the top 16.
So it's Cody Albertson, just looking at his swing, his hands are so fast. Like because you wouldn't think he's going to hit as far just because his finish is so short.
Yeah.
But like you can really see, he's really fast at the bottom, really quick. So he's at 370 and 364.
Yeah, very almost like a Ryan Winther kind of follow through.
Yep. Doesn't really. He's almost at parallel. Sets the hands. He might even be not at parallel with the shaft, like when it sets, and then like I said, a short finish, but really really fast through the golf ball. Isaiah Joyner working on a number here. He needs to put some balls in play as well. He's at 400 points.
And again, it'd be a cool picture if you had someone like Ryan Winther or Troy Teal overlaid with Tyga and Jim Waldron, and see like the differences. And they're both putting up, or they're all putting up similar speeds, hitting incredibly far. But one group of guys is barely getting to parallel, and the other ones are going past vertical.
Oh yeah, yeah. Troy Teal's backswing is like
He's probably never gotten to parallel in his life.
Cody Albertson looking really good here. He's hit a bunch of balls in play too, and very consistent. 365, 364, 370. Isaiah Joyner is at 370. Once again, still struggling a little bit in slot 1 and 4 with the golf balls because they're similar. So we're still waiting on 4 of Isaiah Joyner's numbers to pop up on the board.
Slot 3, Gavin Yokas. And slot 4, Wes Patterson. On deck to finish off set 4, Sebastian Twaddell.
All right, I got to run, get hydrated.
Okay, you're gonna leave me?
I'm
out. Quitting on me?
Yeah, I'll find somebody else. Send it over here for you.
Okay.
Bobby, great job. See you soon.
Okay, good to see you. Good job today.
All right, thanks, man.
Stephen Coyce, and Stephen Coy. He had 4 names today. Leaving the booth. Adam, you want to get in the booth? I haven't eaten anything either. You want to just sit in the booth and talk? Oh, so do I. Food? Okay. I'll be right back. Isaiah Joyner looks, as of right now, is going to take down the set at 373, so he's going to be in at 600 points. Cody Albertson's 370. Yuta Nishihime is 351, and Matt Thorman's at 332. So later today, you got Martin and DeChambino coming in, so we'll probably all get on here, get the viewership up.
Results from that last set: Isaiah Joyner 373 yards, followed by Cody Albertson 370. Yuto Nishijima 351.
Yeah, Bob, we're working on it. I'm a competitor. I'm just volunteering my time here, so we're trying to get as much information to you guys as possible. So we'll try to send the links if we can. So, but we can say in the open division that there's 2 day ones, 64 hitters tomorrow, 64 hitters on Thursday, and it's pretty much the same times, like 8:30, I think 8:30, 10:30. 12:30, 2:30, 3, something like that. There's going to be a little bit of a break. And then Friday, I think they start later on in the day at like 1 o'clock. But I said, I don't know if they have it on the website or not. But the hitters are volunteering their time to announce in the booth as of right now. And so I don't have access to that. So I'm not one of the representatives for the PLDA as far as one of the owners or an employee. There's Martin Bergmeyer. Do you want to come in? All right, we're going to get Martin Bergmeyer in here. One of the favorites to win the 2022 World Championships. So, like right now, Wes is just going to have to put a couple balls in play right now, and he should be okay. Mr. Borgmeyer, the pride of Munich, Germany, has entered the chat room.
Mr. Bradley,
It's
a pleasure. It's been unreal this morning watching the live stream. It is so different. You were so great. How PLDA transformed everything, like from social media to the live stream, is world championship level.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having Top Tracer, to be able to see it, there's a little bit of delay, which helps us out as well. Be able to see, like, ball speed, apex. Not too many high ball hitters today. It's been right around 130, 140 feet.
I got a question for you. So talking speeds, you see all the speeds, right?
Yeah.
So what did Isaiah put up?
I saw 205, 206.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tyga
214, multiple 214s. But the fastest guy so far this group has been Sebastian Twaddell, the kid from Australia.
Yeah.
We just keep saying he's 14 years old. He's like 6'6".
Yeah, I think he's taller actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes a lot of people actually look short. He's a big boy, and what's funny is on his videos on Instagram, he doesn't seem that big and tall, but he is a monster.
He is. He's very big.
Yeah. So regarding scoring in this group, is there any like crazy stuff happening at the bubble?
No, it was 425 last. Where they had a 6-ball playoff. Two of the guys tied it at 425, and they said Wes ended up getting one in play, which he needed, and so he's in. He's into tomorrow. He's in safely. He'll have 600 points as well.
Sebastian Twaddell.
Wes.
Slot 2, John Zook.
And there he is.
And that last ball that he hit was only 202 as far as like ball speed. So like, I mean, maybe we talked about Tim Burke earlier today. Maybe not being as fast, that you get more out of the golf ball. We just don't really know. We don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people actually touch the golf ball for the first time in their first set.
Yep.
Just like myself, I have not hit that golf ball before, and I'm hitting tomorrow. So it's going to be a big surprise for a lot of hitters how it feels, how it flies, what kind of spin rates it needs. Does it launch better, high, low, whatever, right? In terms of speeds, we probably see it being a bit slower than before, but we don't really know yet. So we have to gather more data. We don't really know how the top tracers compare to other launch monitors and all that. So there's a lot still to find out, but what we do know is we have a world championship setup that is way bigger than last year, and last year was absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to topping that this year.
Yeah, this is they asked, Chase asked, like, what's the difference, the big difference between this year and last year, and it really truly is technology.
Yes, I agree.
It's phenomenal. It's a lot easier for us to call in the booth too. I know that we have 8 hours where we're gonna repeat ourselves, but it's a lot easier to call here and get a better feel for ball flight. We're not getting the spin rates as of right now, but for me, I'm seeing the ball flight, and we can't really tell right now. Is it a carry grid? Is it a roll grid? But the fastest guys on the planet and the guys that are supposed to be doing well are doing well.
Yes.
And Kyle coming in, and I think I've seen him with the fastest ball. It might have been 221.
Yeah. That I mean, and the question again is, there's so many factors in this, like the golf ball we mentioned, then his injury we mentioned. Like, how does the actual club and the ball harmonize, right?
Yep.
We don't know that yet, right? A lot of players in this group, for example, are hitting Callaway, I think every single one, and we don't know how it works yet. So it's very interesting, again, to find out, and I'm looking forward to this championship and also for the 2023 season, because I heard we're hitting that golf ball all season long. So
Yep.
Let's see if this is the same ball, if it changes or whatever, but all I see is two big hitters in this group. So that is Seb in slot 1 and definitely Brandon Flynn in slot 4. And what's interesting about Brandon, what I've seen is he already hit like 4. I've for sure seen 367s, and now he hit a 368. Call that consistency.
Yep. Yeah, and he's I've seen 210s from him pretty much all day. It's 207, a little high cutty.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that he's in cruise control mode right now as well. He's filling up the grip mostly, and his mishits right and left most of the time are not that severe. So you don't see him duck hook a golf ball.
No, and I'm curious to see. I'm just gonna assume that these heights are right. I mean, these guys are sitting right around 135, 140 feet in the air today.
It's not very high.
It's not. It's very low, and we talked about Sebastian Twaddell.
That's higher. That's
Yeah,
203.
my concern with him is dispersion left to right, and hitting the ball in play, because he's plenty fast enough. He's got the fastest ball that I've seen so far out of this group. Tim and Tyga have been the fastest guys hitting, and because like he's a guy like a Sebastian Twaddell is very similar to like a Bryce Plank, where it's the first time you're seeing him, compete, and a guy that he's not going to be slipping through the cracks because he's fast, but a guy that like an unknown that finally shows up to the World Championships, like, oh,
Yes.
this guy's got talent. He's got a chance to run deep in this tournament.
Yeah, I've seen him on social media a lot, but you never know how that performance really translates to a competition, right?
Yeah.
Everybody reacts a little bit differently to a competition. Is adrenaline helping you, or is it actually holding you back, right? It depends a little bit, and, well, when you compete for the first couple times, you have to learn how to really make use of that adrenaline and not, freeze at the tee box.
Yep. Well, as of right now, Sebastian's at 378 and Brandon Flynn's at 380. Zook with no numbers, Damian Dooley, but didn't get a reaction out of Damian Dooley. Normally, if he hits a decent ball, you hear something out of him. But Brandon Flynn cruising along. Sebastian Twaddell
86 right there for
yeah.
Brandon.
Looking at the flags, not much movement. And Brandon Flynn, 212 on that last ball that went 386. So he didn't get back to height. I'm curious to see if they could pull that back up. They might not be able to. The top tracer, they just more looking at height. And Brandon ended up taking a little bit of he felt a little bit of the grid. He took up a little bit more grid that I'd like per se. If I was, I'd say if we're getting down to crunch time, the round is 16, like really being nitpicky, he'd probably want to hit this a little bit. He had a little bit too much movement from the right side of the grid to the left side of the grid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. But right now he's cruising.
Yeah.
And maybe he's also testing out the grid a little bit, like
Yep.
right side, left side, just checking what's
Mhm.
running better. I mean, traditionally, you've been here so many times. Like, I've heard that the middle is usually the slowest and the sides are the hottest.
Mhm.
Would you confirm?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like you're a perfect example at the beginning of the year where you finally figured out how to hit that nice little tight draw down that right side where you started out 5-10 yards OB right and then let it land and just go. And, normally the sides are faster. So when we're talking about Brandon, he's on the far right slot, hit the ball dead straight, good height, good landing angles, but, he probably took up 15, 20 yards of grid right to left. Well, now I say 20 BOB, but that's about it. Like I said, we're getting nitpicky early on in a tournament, but late in the event. 386 is a long ball right now.
So let's see what Seb is doing in this set. He's in slot 4 now. Let's see. He's hitting back to back if he can build on that set.
So I'm looking at his feet. It looks like he's aimed OB left.
Yes, I agree. So I was at the range yesterday with him, and when he was trying to hit that high draw, he was murdering golf balls right down the pipe. And for some reason today in competition, he's more on the cut side of things.
Mhm.
So, that's why he's probably aiming out left because his, natural ball flight is a cut with a bit of spin. So let's see if he can actually get back to that draw type of ball flight, what I and he also liked yesterday. But, yeah, you're right. He's aiming left.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of numbers are we seeing here?
We're going to see right here. Like I said, it's delayed probably 20, 30 seconds for us to look at the top tracer numbers. 213. And like I said, I think if he actually squared up his feet, he would hit it better, hit it straighter.
I agree. I mean, maybe even a bit of a close stance.
Yeah.
Especially when you want to. That was 215 now, right here, 148 foot apex. So that is low for him.
Mm-hmm.
But usually when you close your stance a little bit and you hit a lot up on the ball, you want your swing direction to be right anyways. So you kind of equalize it. And when you're on the open side of things, you create a glancing bow. So you simply cut the ball too much. So not utilizing all the energy forward, but sideways, and that's what he's doing here a little bit. But that was 217, and it looks like it's left side of the grid.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely fast enough to get there late in the tournament.
That was OB as well, not left side of the grid, and he's got 2 balls left. So that is all good balls, right? That is good ball striking, but he's just not finding the center. That was 207, and that is a big slice out to the right. So, do you know? Does he actually need the points?
He doesn't. But yeah, look at like you said, we're talking about his feet being left. He just hit a ball that was, if he was square, would have been right down the middle of the grid. Like he actually hit his last ball straight, but he hit it where he was aiming with his feet. And he's going back to back. With sets, but I mean, he's going to be safe. He's in.
Yeah, that's all fine. But also, when you're in the booth and you see that, it's so easy to tell, right?
Yeah.
But when you're actually competing and it's your first event or one of your first couple events, it's tough to make that change.
Yep.
Because it takes a lot of confidence and experience to actually experiment with different aiming, with different setups to the club, so you hit different shot shapes and all of that. Most of the time when you hit your first couple times, you're just happy when you make good contact.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he definitely looks fast enough and strong enough. I said Brandon Flynn. We'll go back to the leaderboard. Flynn looks phenomenal. Tyga looks good. Wes is
Tyga
in.
leading the way there with Brandon, huh?
Brandon, yeah, I mean, I said Brandon's second in the world right now in the PLDA rankings, and someone that's just going to hit a lot of balls in play. And he's not going to beat himself. He's got a first, second, and a third his last 3 events. So, and one thing with Brandon too, like he's going to be there at the end. He really is, and anything can happen. And you know it. Final 8, it's single elimination. So I feel strongly there's probably 12 guys that could potentially win a world championship.
I agree. Talking Seb Twaddell again real quick. This is Group 2, so he was in Group 1 of the round 5, and he's at 450 points right now, so he could be right at the bubble. Or, well, just drop out or be in a playoff, so it's very tight. So we got to see what these guys are doing here.
Yeah, that OB set definitely hurts him because essentially right now Jim Waldron, if he hits a ball in play, will be in front of Sebastian Twaddell, and then Damian Dooley could take a second place and be tied with him. But let's see who's on this bubble here. It's a big set for Waldron. Waldron needs to put one in play. Because I think that he can get in.
So for all you guys watching out there, we have over 1,000 viewers already in this early stage of the tournament. So you guys, if you're not following Pro Long Drive yet on Instagram, you should definitely do it. They completely restructured their social media, and it's looking absolutely amazing. A lot of great background information. So definitely do it right now. If you're not following yet, it's definitely worth it.
All right, we're waiting on a number for Waldron. He doesn't have a ball in play as of right now. And it looks like he hit one off the heel. He hit like a heel cut. There he goes, 332. And actually 332 right now is in second place.
Yeah.
So Waldron, if he takes second place, he's definitely in. He'll have 550 points.
It's interesting. His mechanics are so unique, but good at the same time. Very long backstroke, but then how he's moving into downswing is so interesting because he's moving his entire body backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really trying to launch it very, very high, and you see his left foot actually slide backwards as well. So that's like a very, very pronounced long drive move right there. You wouldn't see him hit an iron like that, but for long drive, that's actually a very, very good move, very powerful right there. But how he's moving backwards, and I would not, well, yeah,
he's waving,
that's a better move.
Yeah, and I said Waldron knows how to win. I mean, last year you guys matched up in the XLD championships, and Jim made the final. I think he semifinalist at the World Championships back in 2018 or 19. So a guy that knows how to win. And right now, I'm not sure if his last ball was in play. If he waved at it, it's going to be farther than 340 yards.
Slot 3, Damian Dooley. Slot 4, Tyga Tsuzawa.
And we have Tyga back.
Tyga's a man.
Leading the pack right here. He looked good yesterday. I was at the driving range with him yesterday, and he had his little radar, right? The Japanese radar. I don't really know what it was. A very interesting device. And what they do in Japan is they measure the ball and club speed in meters per second. So making that conversion every single time for me was a hard time, but he wanted to beat 100 meters per second ball speed, which translates to about 223 point something on his radar, right? And his record so far was 99.6, and yesterday he got up to 99.8. So on that radar, then translating to top tracer, that's probably around like 215-ish, I would guess, right? But he looked good. All I'm saying is he was really pushing it yesterday. And with his move, when you guys out there at the stream, when you guys look at his move, you've never seen anything like this before unless you've seen him before, because his footwork is absolutely unreal. His feet are all over the place during his golf swing, but, well, somehow he's managing to make great contact and hitting actual good draws out there. So as soon as he's hitting, definitely have a look at that. It's unreal.
Yeah, Tyga's the man. He's a crowd favorite. He's a player favorite. He's the man. So we're gonna get a nice slow-mo video of him. You know what? Let's go 240 on this one. Why not? Let's go do 240. Have a nice 30-second video of him, and got to pick the right song for Instagram.
And guys, I can say it again. I gotta say it again. I'm just looking through the Instagram stories of Pro Long Drive. What they've been doing is unreal. They completely transformed the whole thing. You have to have a look at it. The story today is so cool, and we've never seen anything like this before. So definitely make sure to give them a follow if you want to see some background information and some scores and all of that. It's really, really cool. Quality is through the roof, topped out.
All right, we're taking a little bit of time in between sets here, clearing the grid, golf balls on the grid from the guys warming up on the range. So the range balls are white, so there could be some confusion, but it's backed off about 40, 50 yards.
And sideways as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a nice litter of golf balls in the grid right now from the range, but it's at about 250 to like 300 yards.
What I really like is that there's a camera on the crane back there as well. So I hope, well, the deeper we get into the tournament, we can make more use of that too. Like seeing golf balls actually land in the final could be very, very interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yep, we had a crane. This is, I think, 2014. It was 2014. I hit the crane.
Did you?
I did, and my ball was in the middle of the grid at like 407. It hit the bat. It was at the fence. And Art had to come up to me, and he's like, hey, man, we were just going back to watch the footage. And he's like, your ball hit the crane, so it's not in play. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I wasn't going to put up a fight because I knew that ball wasn't that far, but I guess it must have hit it perfect to where it just, whatever, went long. But that day was insane. I mean, you guys were losing sets at 460 yards. Well, 463 to be exact.
So, I mean, hitting that thing in the perfect spot, I mean, that's not easy.
No, but I know I didn't deserve it.
And here we go.
All right, here
Taiga
comes our
starting.
guy, Taiga. Legend. Like I said, I'm going HD. I'm going to go 240 slow-mo. Let's do it.
And you know what Taiga did? He went 205 right down the middle.
Little smoothie. Yeah, he's on cruise control. It's a long tournament, so there's no reason for him to go full gas.
Well, he likes the max power shot, though. That's what he's posting on Instagram all the time. He's posting the max power shot and his technique doing that, right? So I have a feeling when he's going max power, he's the straightest.
Yeah.
So
73.
That's a good number.
Just smoothing it.
For some reason, everything just lines up when he's going max power, right? The sequencing is right. And, well, there's a lot of moving parts in his golf swing. He's actually a golf professional back in Japan, so he's teaching. I don't know if he's affiliated with a PGA or whoever, but he's definitely giving golf lessons. So he's got a golfing background, and he's playing as well. And, well, I don't know how he came up with a golf swing, how that worked, but it is super unique, and it's working.
Yep. He knows how to hit the center of the club face.
He's
That
just
impact.
a talent.
So Cody Albertson, very consistent hitter this round robin here. We're going to try to pull up the scoring. To see, I know Damian Dooley potentially has to win this set in order to get in. Right now he doesn't have a mark, so points are critical, especially when you have right around 400 points going into the last set. So Damian Dooley doesn't have a ball in play as of right now.
And he's at 400 points right now.
That's going to be tough if he doesn't get one in play.
Yeah, right at the bubble right now.
Because if Gavin Yokas takes second place, which he's in third, or no, he's in second right now. He's in second right now, so he can sneak in. He can beat.
They would be tied if he goes OB. As of right now.
So yeah, Damian Dooley needs the ball in play. If not, he can be beat.
Ladies and gentlemen, come to the tee now. The final group.
And then we have Rob Tietmeyer as well, who's still hitting in the next group.
Rob Tietmeyer and slot 4, Brandon Flynn. At the end of this group, we'll tally up all the points.
Saiga right now is in the lead at 373. We're looking at Damian Dooley, who ended up going, or Damian Dooley, they ended up going OB. So Gavin Yokas is going to take second place. So Damian Dooley is eliminated from the tournament. Rob Tietmeyer has to win this set in order to get in, or he can tie for first place.
350. Cody Albertson 348. Damian Dooley OB, no points that set.
So Sebastian going OB is going to be able to get in on his last set with 450 points. So 425 is going to be the bubble. Rob Tietmeyer has to win the set. He's the only guy that can get in right now, or that's on the bubble that could get in. Or where's Isaiah Joyner's in? So let's go to the top. Tyga's at 900. He's in. Brandon Flynn, Wes Patterson, Jim Waldron, Isaiah Joyner, Cody Albertson, and Sebastian Twaddell. They're in. The guy that's on the bubble right now is Gavin Yokas.
Depending on what Rob Tietmeyer does in this set, it's going to move the bubble or not.
Tietmeyer has to win the set in order to advance. And he's hitting a bunch of balls in play. I mean, he went 6 for 6 last set. So the only guy that could potentially get in is Rob Tietmeyer.
Winning the set.
Yep. And he's going up against Wes, who made the final 8 last year. Brandon Flynn, 2 in the world. So, and then Isaiah Joyner is hitting the ball really well. So Tietmeyer's got his hands full. But if anybody can advance, it could be him. He's a really good ball striker, and he's a guy that's made a final 8 at a World Championship.
And he's starting off with a 198 ball right down the middle.
Yep. I still like the slot today. I think I like slot 4. It seems like those have been the best numbers. And we get to watch Brandon Flynn again, and I am going to get a video of him in his swing. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, one of the best mechanics for sure in the whole long drive circuit.
Hudson just walked right in front of me.
Yeah.
Perfect swing.
I mean, that might make the video better. You never know.
It might actually make the video better. I didn't even see Brandon hit right there. That was perfect.
So Rob Tietmeyer at 344 right there. Isaiah at 356, and Brandon just hit a 358. So it's very close right now.
I mean, Tietmeyer pretty much has locked up the performance bonus for most balls in play in the longest set. .211 from Isaiah Joyner there in terms of ball speed. That is a big number. And Wes's number at 380 as well. So Wes ended up going, I don't know if he's hitting the D10 or he's hitting the D30, but he's normally hits a Tour Series setup. He uses the 51K, the Fuji.
Is that a bit stiffer?
Yeah, it's like 2-3X.
Yeah.
And it's a Tour Series shaft. And now if he's going to the D10, which technically is a Tour Series shaft, uncut, I'd be interested to see his numbers. I mean, right now he's got 3 balls in plays at 380. And, you know, Wes is a golfer as well, so if he gets his hands to set at the top, he's gonna hit a lot of balls in play. This has been a good set right now. You got a lot of guys that are putting balls in play right now, a ton of them. I mean, they're filling up the grid right now. So this is, you know, these are the best, highest ranked hitters going up against each other in the last set.
So now in this last ball let's switch over to Wes and check one of his ball speeds.
And Wes is a guy that can touch 220.
Yeah, definitely.
But we can definitely see that these ball speed numbers are definitely down. You know,
he mishit that one. 209. Yeah, the question is, they're down a little bit. The question is that the radar that's reading differently, or is that the golf ball?
Yeah.
Or is that the combination of the club and the golf ball?
Mm.
We don't know yet, but it's going to be interesting to find out. And still, because we're kind of staying in the same system, because everybody's using the same ball and the same radar, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just comparing within the same system. So that's all fine. But Wes is taking this home, I guess, depending on Isaiah's last couple balls or Brandon's. Right now in the lead at 380. Isaiah at 379, right behind him. Brandon Flynn, 374, and Rob Tietmeyer, 344. And as we discussed earlier, this is not 200 points for Rob Tietmeyer, that's for sure. It's 25. So
It's the final 8 has been set. So Gavin Yokas is going to get in. Isaiah Joyner, 6 for 6. So he's actually going to take the performance bonus over Tietmeyer. That's a really impressive set. That's the most impressive set as far as numbers go today. As far as yardages, 6 for 6, 356, 347, 379, 357, 387, and 348. So
do you know who he's working with as a coach?
Lee Cox.
Oh yeah.
What a guess.
Huh, what a guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I had 2 guesses, right?
Yeah, they started working a couple months ago, and I think they changed some angle of attack things, and you could tell that he was launching the ball a lot higher today. So all the work might pay off.
Well, the finals are done. It looks like, or the final 8 has been set. Wes Patterson and Brandon Flynn tie 380.
Isaiah Joyner, 387 yards. Wes Patterson and Brandon
All right,
Flynn
so yeah,
on
Tyga,
range of each other,
Isaiah Joyner, Brandon Flynn, Wes Patterson, Jim Waldron, Cody Albertson.
and Rob
Sebastian
Flynn,
is in,
44.
and
Points right now determine 30 ties and announce the top 8 players moving on.
there it is. And Gavin Yokas.
Taiga taking it home, huh?
Yeah,
900 points. There we go. Thank you from Japan.
thank you from Japan. So 32 guys have entered battle today. 16 men have survived. We still have 32 more hitters to go. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but Taiga from Japan takes down the round robin at 900 points. Looks great. He was the second fastest guy to Sebastian, and but yeah, Taiga looked great. Had a lot of balls in play, and a guy that we'll see late in the tournament.
How long of a break are we having now?
I'm not sure, but I'm hungry.
Me too. I want to grab a bottle of water.
I need to make
as
a couple
well.
posts on IG
On what page?
on both the Blimers and the Blime Shells. It's better to say it with a Boston accent, and then long drivers,
The long dot drivers.
long dot drivers.
I think that's worth a follow too.
Yeah,
Nice strategy there, by the way.
with
It's
bombers and bombshells.
Yeah, both of them. Actually, I mean, it's not too different, to be honest with you.
Well,
I mean, it's
no.
less memes. It's less memes.
I took the TikTok approach and just put swing videos on the bombers and bombshells, but the analytics are telling me that they like to see girls hit drivers instead of guys. So that page is taking a turn where it's going to be more ladies than men, and then obviously the long drivers pages.
Yeah, it was a
Just-
genius approach, Bobby, a couple years ago. When you started off the long drivers page, you knew what people want to see, and
Yeah.
you gave them what they want to see, and that's how your page grew so quickly. It's unreal.
It's been
so you
fun.
want to check that out.
Yeah, we've had fun with that page. And,
Long dot drivers.
Yeah, but
You went through everything with that page, dude.
oh
Like,
yeah, we got it back
you
though.
lost it,
Yeah.
and then you got it back.
I got it back.
Yeah.
Like I said, but no, we've had some fun, you know, but made the pivot of not posting as much long drive on that page just because, like I said, the analytics speak. They like the girls, they like the memes, they like the guys topping golf balls 4 feet or, you know, shanking it off something, you know, cart girl memes, whatever. But you know, we always got to sprinkle in the long drive because that's where the page started. I just remember us, you know, sitting in China and we're like, just send me all the videos that you guys have of hitting balls. So. And it's grown over the years, and it's been a fun account. Got to meet a lot of good people along the way. But
So for all you guys out there, you want to follow Long Dot Drivers and also, obviously, Pro Long Drive on Instagram. And we'll
And
be
Mark-
back at 1 p.m. That is in, what time is it right now? Now it's 12:07, so we'll be back in 53 minutes.
as the late great Dick Sanford always said, in round robin number 2 on 1A, day 1A. Good night, God bless, drive home safely. We'll be back in 52 minutes for group number 3.